The world is full of beautiful places that most of us don't even know about. From breathtaking waterfalls and jaw-dropping natural wonders to mysterious lost cities and quaint landmarks, you're never short on things to see or do. In this video I am gonna show you top 16 beautiful places on our planet Earth. If you like our content, hit a thumbs up, and if you dislike the content, hit the dislike button and subscribe. So let's get started. Number 1. Whitehaven Beach, Australia. It's easy to see why the Whitehaven Beach ranks among the most photographed beaches in the world. The magnificent 7-kilometer stretch of white sand that feels like your own private slice of heaven presents an aura of peace and serenity, letting you experience relaxation at its very best. The beach is accessible via boat from Hamilton Island and the ports of Chute Harbour and Airlie Beach. To enjoy the best view of Whitehaven Beach, make your way to Tongue Point. Time your trip with a low tide and you'll get to see a mesmerizing fusion of colors that always promises the grandest of views. Number 2. Isle of Skye, Scotland. You might suddenly start believing in fairies the moment your eyes fall on the fairy pool, an ethereal oasis that bewitches visitors with its crystal clear water, picture-perfect scenery and magical atmosphere. The waters are freezing, but if you're searching for wild swimming adventures, it truly doesn't get better than this. And if you're not as adventurous, a mere walk around the area, exploring aqua blue pools, each more appealing than the other, is sure to leave you in high spirits. The place also has its own infinity pool, bounded by a beautiful stone wall. Number 3. Huacachina, Peru. Sci lovers and artists will fall in love with Huacachina, a stunning desert oasis that leaves you mesmerized with its raw beauty and fantastical legends. Think of yourself sitting on a huge sand dune enjoying breathtaking sunset views as the landscape reveals vivid colors of red and yellow all around you. Right in front of you lies a dreamy oasis which looks like a still from one of those Arabian Nights movies, dotted with palm trees, covered with rustic hotels that offer the very best of luxury. Huacachina might lose out to Machu Picchu and Nazca in terms of popularity, but it provides a picture-perfect setting for those searching for mystery, adventure, etc. And don't forget to keep an eye out for the mermaid that is said to live there. Number 4. Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia. No list of the most beautiful places in the world would ever be complete without mentioning Plitvice Lakes National Park in Croatia. This mesmerizing park is the largest national park in the country and is most famous for its 16 crystalline lakes that join one another through a series of cascades and waterfalls. You explore the park via 18 km of wooden pathways and footbridges that snake their way around the edges and across the waterfalls to offer unparalleled views of the area. Clouds of colorful butterflies also keep you company throughout your hike. No wonder that Plitvice Lakes manages to attract as many as 1,200,000 people per year. Number 5. Grand Canyon National Park, USA. There's a reason more than 5 million people choose to visit the Grand Canyon each year. It's one of the most magical destinations on the planet. Irrespective of how much you read about the Grand Canyon, you're sure to end up being spellbound, for nothing prepares you for the magical sight that this wonder has to offer. Considered to rank among one of the top 7 wonders of the world, this fascinating piece of art feels strikingly familiar, yet entirely unique. Its sheer size leaves you speechless, and visiting the canyon during sunrise or sunset leaves you mesmerized because the scenery on display is so serene, so beautiful, so pure. The canyon is divided into 3 rims, north, west and south, and all 3 offer incredibly unique experiences. The South Rim is the most visited feature of the canyon, for it hosts a majority of the region's infrastructure, Native American ruins, viewpoints and historic artifacts. However, if you're after adventure and solitude, the North Rim is where you need to be. Number 6. Milford Sound, New Zealand. Sydney Opera House, Waitomo Caves, Great Barrier Reef, Sydney Harbour Bridge, you have all kinds of attractions to keep you company while on tour to Australia and New Zealand. However, the moment you visit Milford Sound, everything else pales in view. This 1,692 meters high mountainous fjord is where you see all those Lord of the Rings fantasies come to life, and your first glimpse is likely to leave you with butterflies in your belly. No wonder that Milford Sound attracts more than 500,000 visitors per year. You can visit Milford Sound on foot, via helicopter or via bus tours. Number 7. Rainbow Mountains, Zhangye Danja, China. If you're in love with everything that the Grand Canyon represents and are closer to Asia than to North America, hop over to China to see the Rainbow Mountains of Zhangye Danja National Geological Park. Considered to be as stunning as the Grand Canyon, and one of the most beautiful places in all of China, the mountains present dramatic colors of maroon, magenta, yellows and greens due to trace minerals within the sandstone. Number 8. Machu Picchu, Peru. And finally there's the Great Machu Picchu, the so-called lost civilization of the Incas. Machu Picchu was built around the year 1450 and was occupied for almost 100 years before the Spanish conquest. This mesmerizing city was never discovered by the Spaniards and was literally forgotten until the early 20th century, meaning that most of its architectural wonders still remain intact. The hike up the hills is an adventure in itself, and this mysterious city looks most beautiful from the Inca Trail lookout point. Each of these places leave you speechless with their beauty, mystery and ingenuity, making you wonder just how many secrets this beautiful planet still has in store for us. Exploring the most beautiful places in the world is a time-consuming affair, for there are so many destinations that could make your list, but each experience is sure to be incredible, fascinating and extremely rewarding. Number 9. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. The largest salt mine in the world is also one of its most beautiful wonders. Salar de Uyuni looks like one of those fantasy-like paintings of the Renaissance era, but it proudly stands as one of the most stunning spectacles of South America. The sheer beauty of this vast desert leaves you speechless, and the strange islands that form in a sea of salt present an unforgettable landscape that is sure to remain etched in your minds forever. The salar was formed as a result of transformations between several prehistoric lakes. It is covered by a few meters of salt crust, which has an extraordinary flatness with the average elevation variations within 1 meter over the entire area of the salar. The crust serves as a source of salt and covers a pool of brine, which is exceptionally rich in lithium. The large area, clear skies, and exceptional flatness of the surface make the salar ideal for calibrating the altimeters of Earth observation satellites. Following rain, a thin layer of dead calm water transforms the flat into the world's largest mirror, 129 kilometers, 80 miles, across. The salar serves as the major transport route across the Bolivian altiplano and is a prime breeding ground for several species of flamingos. Salar de Uyuni is also a climatological transitional zone since the towering tropical cumulus congestus and cumulonimbus incus clouds that form in the eastern part of the salt flat during the summer cannot permeate beyond its drier western edges, near the Chilean border and the Atacama Desert. Salar has been used as a filming location for movies such as Star Wars, The Last Jedi 2017, as Planet Crate The Fall 2006, Salt and Fire 2016, The Unseen 2017, and several others. Salar de Uyuni is part of the Altiplano of Bolivia in South America. The Altiplano is a high plateau, which was formed during uplift of the Andes Mountains. The plateau includes fresh and saltwater lakes as well as salt flats and is surrounded by mountains with no drainage outlets. Mountains surrounding the Uyuni Salt Flat during sunrise, Daniel Campos Province, Potosi Department, southwestern Bolivia, not far from the crest of the Andes. The geological history of the Salar is associated with a sequential transformation between several vast lakes. Some 30,000 to 42,000 years ago, the area was part of a giant prehistoric lake, Lake Minchin. Its age was estimated by radiocarbon dating shells from outcropping sediments and carbonate reefs and varies between reported studies. Lake Minchin, named after Juan B. Minchin of Oruro, later transformed into Paleo Lake Taka, having a maximal depth of 140 meters, 460 feet, and an estimated age of 13,000 to 18,000 or 14,900 to 26,100 years, depending on the source. The youngest prehistoric lake was Coipasa, which was radiocarbon dated to 11,500 to 13,400 years ago. When it dried, it left behind two modern lakes, Pupo and Uru Uru, and two major salt deserts, Salar de Coipasa and the larger Salar de Uyuni. Salar de Uyuni spreads over 10,582 square kilometers, which is roughly 100 times the size of the Bonneville Salt Flats in the United States. Lake Pupo is a neighbor of the much larger Lake Titicaca. During the wet season, Titicaca overflows and discharges into Pupo, which in turn floods Salar de Coipasa and Salar de Uyuni. Number 10. Santorini, Greece. The whitewashed, blue-capped houses of the Greek village of Fira are typical of the many picturesque villages of modern-day Greece. But these particular houses, along with those of Fira's sister city Oia, are perched impossibly on the ridge of a caldera and command a bold, panoramic view of the surrounding Aegean Sea. The caldera is the remnant of the ancient island of Thera, now called Santorini. Situated in the southern Aegean Sea and forming the southernmost of the Cyclades group of islands, Santorini is a volcanic island located 120 miles, 200 kilometers, southeast of the Greek mainland. It is famous for its rugged landscape, towering cliffs displaying distinct and colorful geologic layers, volcanic beaches, and 360-degree view of the deep blue Aegean Sea. Number 11. Huashan, China. Shan is Mandarin for mountain, and Hua means splendid or magnificent. Huashan, a towering mountain located near the city of Huayin in China's Shaanxi province, about 74 miles, 120 kilometers east of Xi'an, lives up to its moniker. It consists of 5 separate peaks, the tallest of which, South Peak, rises to 7,070 feet, 2,155 meters. The mountain is composed primarily of Mesozoic-era granite upthrust as the result of geologic faulting over millions of years, according to UNESCO. This created the sheer rock faces that characterize the mountain and plunge precipitously to the valley below. The surrounding flora is rich and varied. Mosses, lichens and shrubs characterize the understory, while several species of pine clinging precariously to steep rock faces and sheer cliffs form the overstory. Taoists, who are practitioners of the ancient Chinese religion of Taoism, have cherished Huashan for centuries, and it is considered one of China's most sacred mountains. Several Taoist temples dot the mountain slopes and peaks. The earliest temple, the Shrine of the Western Peak, dates back to the 2nd century BC. Number 12. Prague, Czech Republic. The capital of the Czech Republic, Prague is known as the City of 100 Spires, a name that references its famous castles, cathedrals, Gothic and Baroque architecture, and medieval squares and bridges. It is home to 1.3 million people. The area around Prague is a region known as Bohemia, which has been settled for many millennia, first by Paleolithic peoples and much later by the Celts. But Prague did not acquire the rudiments of a city until the 9th century AD, according to Encyclopaedia Britannica. During the medieval period, the city grew in size, scope and renown, becoming a major city of political and cultural influence in the 14th century. In 1348, the Holy Roman Emperor Charles IV founded Charles University in Prague, the first such center of learning in Central Europe. And during the latter Middle Ages and into the Renaissance, Prague played a major role during the Reformation, a period of intense religious ferment that gave rise to Protestantism. Under the influence of Catholic Church critics like Jan Hus, Prague became a hotbed of opposition to Roman Catholicism. The Vltava River runs north to south as it meanders through the city, passing such famous landmarks as the Prague Astronomical Clock, the Vyšehrad Museum and the famous Charles Bridge, a medieval stone bridge that links Prague's old and new towns and is famous for its Baroque statuary of prominent saints. Number 13. Jökulsárlón, Iceland. The first thing you notice about Iceland's largest glacial lagoon is the dazzling blueness of the water. It has a crystalline quality that is mesmerizing and otherworldly. Brilliant white icebergs, broken off of the nearby glacier, float about, resembling clouds drifting in the sky. Jökulsárlón, translated as Glacial River Lagoon, is Iceland's deepest lake, plunging 813 feet, 248 meters, below the surface, according to Earth Observatory, a NASA-affiliated site. It covers a surface area of 7 square miles 18 square km, and borders the coast, so at high tide, Atlantic Ocean water spills into the lagoon. Jökulsárlón is part of Vatnajökull National Park, located near the town of Hofen in the southeast part of the country. The park derives its name from Vatnajökull Glacier, which is Iceland's largest ice cap and the second largest ice cap in Europe, after the Severny Island ice cap in Novaya Zemlya, Russia. Jökulsárlón formed fairly recently, between 1934 and 1935, when meltwater from Vatnajökull Glacier rushed into the lagoon, forming a lake. It has been expanding ever since. Today, the expansion of Jökulsárlón is accelerating as a result of climate change. The lagoon is a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from all over Europe, Asia and the United States. They come to see the icebergs, the wildlife and the amazing vistas, especially Vatnajökull Glacier, which rises to 3,000 feet, 910 meters, and provides a dramatic backdrop to the striking blue lagoon. A plethora of seabirds, including terns, skuas, gulls and puffins, call the area home, and seals are frequent visitors to the lagoon. Number 14. Great Ocean Road, Australia. Flanked on the south by the tempestuous Southern Ocean, the Great Ocean Road is Australia's most scenic highway. It passes by some of the country's most amazing vistas and natural landmarks, and is on Australia's National Heritage List, a list of places deemed to be of outstanding historical, natural and cultural significance to Australia. The Great Ocean Road runs along the southeast coast, from Torquay in the east to Alensford in the west. It covers a length of 151 miles, 243 kilometers, and parallels the southern edge of the continent for most of the way, though it occasionally deviates to cut inland and zigzag around a landform or natural formation. The entire route takes about 9.5 hours, and tourists typically spend 3 days doing the drive. Related. In photos, Travel Australia's Great Ocean Road. The road winds through coastal scenery for most of its length, running along cliff tops, skirting beaches and coves, and passing through rainforests and by waterfalls. Highlights include the Otway Rainforest Canopy, which takes visitors high up through the canopy of a Myrtle Beach Nuthofagus Cunninghami forest, and the Grotto, a stretch of limestone coast that has been eroded into fantastical shapes and formations. Perhaps the most spectacular attraction, however, is a series of limestone sea stacks called the 12 Apostles. These rock formations were part of the mainland 20 million years ago but have eroded over time and now form pinnacles just offshore. The idea of creating the Great Ocean Road grew out of a desire to commemorate the Australian soldiers who died during World War I, according to SBS News, an Australian news site. Construction of the road began in 1918, after a survey crew laid out the route the previous year. Many members of the construction crew were servicemen who had returned from the war and needed jobs. The road was constructed piecemeal, and it was completed in 1932. Number 15. Cappadocia, Turkey. Cappadocia is a living example of just how odd yet beautiful nature can be. It presents a fantasy-like landscape that looks like it's been plucked out of a fairy tale, alien-like hills and boulders that seem as if they've been transported from another planet. The humans who once lived here used the area's soft stone to create underground shelters, leaving all kinds of weird architectural wonders in their wake. The lunar landscape is stunning on its own, but the countless hot air balloons that fill up the sky with shades of red, yellow, orange and cream simply take its beauty to the next level. The Göreme Open Air Museum and its rock-cut churches and the subterranean wonders of Kaymakli are among the best things to see in Cappadocia. Number 16. Seychelles. In 1881, the famous British General Charles, Chinese, Gordon thought he had stumbled across the biblical Garden of Eden, literally. He claimed it was on an island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, now known as Praslin in the Republic of Seychelles. Seychelles is an archipelago of 115 islands nearly 1,000 miles off Africa's east coast. The islands are the epitome of postcard perfect. Stately palm trees sway above pristine white beaches and brilliant turquoise water. Most of the islands are granite, according to One Earth Philanthropy, a non-profit environmental group, although several islands are also coral atolls. The Aldabra group of islands includes Aldabra Island, which is the world's second largest raised coral atoll and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is home to the endemic Aldabra giant tortoise, Aldabrachelys gigantea, which, like the Galapagos giant tortoise, is an example of island gigantism, an evolutionary process whereby certain island-dwelling animals grow to very large sizes.